is the starting lineup for today's race. On the pole will be Mark Martin from Batesville, Arkansas. Car number 6, the Strolite Ford at 191.8. And Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia. Now the green flag waves, and here we go. What a way to start your July 4th holiday weekend here on ESPN. The flag coverage of the Pepsi 400, formerly known as the Firecracker 400, the first telecast of ESPN here at Daytona Winston Cup Race, and the first flag-to-flag coverage ever of this event. They're running pretty much the way they started, with Mark Martin and Bill Elliott running side by side down the backstretch. Elliott pulls out slightly. Now here comes Neil Bonnet and Ken Schrader as Mark Martin drops all the way back to fourth.
Looks like that outside groove is the best groove. The preferred groove is going to be today because they're able to get some momentum up on top of the racetrack. Mark Martin, our pole sitter, back to about 5th spot already. Needs to get to the high side and not the low side.
And the green flag is waved once again, and Mark Martin is the first car to cross the line. And he pulls away from Jimmy Spencer and Derek Cope as they head for turn number 1. Dale Earnhardt there with the black number 3. There's Geoff Bodine and Bobby Hillin along with Rick Wilson.
Both Derek Cope and Jimmy Spencer only took on right side tires. Good pit stops for them. Got back out up front.
Jimmy Spencer, by the way, will be driving this number 88 car owned by Buddy Ranger the rest of the way in the 1989 campaign. There's the green number 26 of Ricky Rudd, who has worked his way up toward the front after starting in 38th position in the next to the last row. Mark Martin with several car length advantage now on Dale Earnhardt, but Dale and others will be catching quickly.
Well, there's one car headed to the pits. That's Harry Gantz, car number 33. Gantz was started in 3rd place, but now he's making an unscheduled pit stop just behind Ken Schrader in the pits as they race for the lead. Intimidating. Here's Dale Earnhardt going for the lead.
Dale to the inside, and Geoff Bodine comes along also with Rick Wilson, and it looks as if Mark Martin is going to lose the lead. Indeed, he does, as Dale Earnhardt will get credit for that lap. But here comes, Mark is fighting back on the outside all by himself in that Ford, and now...
Come on, Rick, get up behind him.
Rick is trying to decide which way to go, and he's trying to sort of stay in the middle also.
Take the 6, Rick. We'll get us a good race going here.
No, I think Rick sees that Earnhardt maybe has the hot ticket right now. He's going to go with him.
Down the backstretch, Wilson falls in behind Geoff Bodine. Now he decides to go outside.
Well, I tell you, you've got to be impressed with Martin, able to stay out there by himself, even though Earnhardt goes into the turn a little bit deeper, goes high, but here comes Martin back on the outside. Boy, they're getting close. Here comes Bodine, making 3 abreast.
All right, now we're going somewhere. No, we touch. I'm sorry, guys.
Mark Martin is spinning to the infield.
Another car is coming on. Can he keep it down on the inside? There's Phil Barkdahl spinning out in front of him.
But unbelievable, guys, that only 2 cars are involved, as everybody played heads-up driving and avoided a major catastrophe right here at the starting line.
You're right. The caution is out, but you are right. It is a miracle.
Are you okay, Benny?
This is the doggonest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Unbelievable job of driving by virtually all of the field, as Mark Martin, the leader, spun right in front of the main grandstand to the start-finish line, and only Phil Barkdahl lost it, and he is okay and underway once again.
Well, I think that Mark Martin's spin came. Let's look at it again. Here's Earnhardt. It looked like in the middle. He and Geoff Bodine got together a little bit there, and they touched, and evidently Bodine got into Mark Martin just a little bit as he was battling with Earnhardt back there, spinning him around. And look at him come back up in the track there just for a moment. Those cars go by on the outside. He gets the car straightened out again, keeps it down on the grass, and that's Phil Barkdahl out in front. The smoke that you saw out at the end of pit road.
What happens is that Earnhardt touches Bodine,
and Bodine
touches the 6 car, and away we go.
And send him spinning around. And look at the cars that were able to go by on the outside as he spun. Now look, the opening in the traffic, he comes back up there. It looked like it was planned that way, that all those cars got by. They need to go up a little bit. Here comes the other pack. He gets back down on the inside of the track. They all get by. No big major
They're
deal.
running 150 miles an hour while Mark is spinning around in front.
No, I tell you, have you ever seen anything like that before in your life? That's the doggonest thing I've ever seen.
couple of those, Benny, but you didn't realize
it didn't look like that from up here. Now the lead goes to Terry Labonte in car number 11. We're under our 4th caution of the afternoon. Let's go to Jerry Punch with a comment on the Mark Martin situation.
Well, gentlemen, just a minute ago, I was talking to the Jack Roush, Mark Martin crew here, and Steve Mill and the crew getting ready to bring him in. And what Mark had said on the radio was, as he came by, he said, "Hey, guys, I'm sorry I scared you a little bit out there. I can't tell you what happened. My heart's pounding so hard I can't even talk. Next time by, maybe I'll calm down a little bit and tell you." He said, "But, hey, I'm sorry I scared you a little bit there. But everything's okay with the car. We're going to come in this time and probably change 4 tires. Looks like they are going to come in and change 4 tires as Steve Mill and the Stroh's Light crew wait on the pole sitter here."
Scared you too, didn't it, Benny?
Man, that boy needs, NASCAR just needs to red flag this thing and let that boy calm down. If he's as scared as I am, he's scared to death.
He's going for $100,000, $98,600 from Unocal, and the Speedway has contributed another $1,400 to make it an even $100,000 bonus that Mark Martin will pick up if he wins this race as the pole sitter. And he had a close scare but stayed on the lead lap, and everything appears to be okay. Bill Parsons is visiting pit road, as is Dick Trickle in the number 84 car, Dave Marcus. Martin is also coming in along with Richard Petty, Brett Bodine, and Ken Schrader once again. There is Mark Martin, Jerry Punch.
Well, the Stroh's Light crew is going to work on Mark Martin's car. He revved the motor up very loud. I'm sure they will change tires, add fuel, and probably even take his pulse here for a few seconds. They now have the right side tires on. They scamper back across the wall. He keeps the car revved up to make sure that the heat will not be a factor. A little bit of bumper damage on the car there. As you see the car, bumper damage on the back of the car as he spun around. Down and away. Great pit stop by Robin Pemberton, Steve Mill, and the Stroh's Light crew.
Well, Jerry, if they were going to check his pulse, you was going to have to do it. They were all too busy getting him out of the pit.
Mark Martin goes back out onto the racetrack after a scary moment, spinning at the start-finish line here at the Pepsi 400. We'll be back with more coverage right after this.
Well, gentlemen, we were seeing that wild scramble just a lap or so ago because all the crews were beginning to feel the sprinkling. They know that in a little less than 20 laps from now, the race would be halfway and it could be over with. Well, a number of those crew chiefs were saying, "Hey, guys, 19 laps from now, if it rains, we could be finished, so go to the front." So one of the guys telling his driver to make his way to the front was Steve Mill. And Steve, a little bit concerned about the rain up here with your guy stuck back in the pack. But first of all, how's the car to that spin up there? How's Mark's car?
He says it's fine. He talked to us the whole time he was spinning. It didn't bother him a whole lot. If he didn't turn over, he figured he was okay, and he just kept stabbing and steering, and he brought it back. Said the car drives fine. Traffic is real tough. A while ago, we were pulling for rain at halfway because we were leading. Now we'll hope it goes all the way. We don't care if it runs to left or dark. We need to get 160 laps in where we can get back to the front.
You got some different color paint on the car there, a couple different colors of paint. It's been getting close out there at high speed.
Oh, they're racing. Yeah, it wouldn't matter if it's a quarter-mile bull ring or great big 2.5-mile tri-oval like here at Daytona. These boys here are going to race.
They are getting serious here at Daytona. Back at Daytona International Speedway, I'm here in the pits with innovator and now car owner Jack Roush. And Jack, they're getting ready to go green. You developed a new intake here, which is to make a lot of these cars run so much quicker with the plate.
Well, one of the things that happened last year is we found we were down on horsepower, and it's hard to keep secrets of the Winston Cup teams. I checked around and found that a number of the competitor brands were encroaching on the plenum, down to within 1 3/4 inch of the center of the plenum. So I went to NASCAR after we were embarrassed at Daytona this year and asked them if I could work in the same area that the competitor cars were. They told me that I could go within 1 3/4 inch of the center, and the result is what you see today. We found a couple of things that other people overlook.
Well, they had this intake cover with a plate, and there are 39 teams on pit road that would love to see underneath this plate of this intake. This intake on his car ran 192 miles an hour and is on the pole. The same intake purchased by many of the competitors already now is running up front right now as you see him on the track. Gentlemen.
It is still Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd, and Mark Martin has moved all the way up to 3rd spot now as Geoff Bodine goes to 4th.
I think they made the little fella mad a while ago.
Well, at least he proves that he shakes off a close call that he had. Watch this. And he's going for 2nd spot. They leave Dale Earnhardt back in 3rd. Now Morgan Shepherd has the lead. And Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt are wheel-to-wheel and door-handle again, coming down for the strike.
Mark just had to squeeze out of the throttle just a little bit going in the 3rd corner and then stopped his momentum, allowed Earnhardt to pull back from the outside of him.
Those same three guys that created a problem a few laps earlier are running together once again.
But if anybody's mad at each other, it ain't payback time. Not out there now.
Not now. That's Terry Labonte and Geoff Bodine side by side also. And Darrell Waltrip watching all of this in the orange and yellow Tide car. Morgan Shepherd is your leader. Here comes Martin. He's got Terry Labonte right behind him now as they lap into turn number 3. Two abreast formation.
Look at this, folks. This is unbelievable competition. Look at these cars.
They keep talking about wanting NASCAR to take those restrictor plates away. You think they're going to do it?
Look at the train. Virtually the entire field now in the lead draft. Two abreast. A group of cars on the inside line and a group on the outside.
Well, there's just not much room for anyone to get out of line.
Oh.
Terry Labonte and Geoff Bodine came awfully close. Here's Neil Bonnie. He's going to get out of line. Coming down on the inside.
There's three abreast.
Neil Bonnie running strong there down on the inside. Davey Allison comes with you.
Phil Parsons makes it 4 abreast as they come down. Unbelievable. There's Jimmy Spencer.
Right in the middle. Can they make it into that turn? Phil, hold on to her down there. He's got it. Spencer goes a little bit high, gets a little loose, but he hangs on to it.
And there's the bumper cam from Rusty Wallace's car. Look at how they touched.
One driver who's having a real good day, as a matter of fact, did not even need to come in that time for the caution flag for a pit stop, was Mark Martin. I asked Steve Mill and the crew why they didn't pit like everyone else did. He said, well, you know, track position is so important here. We've been mired back in this track, and we've been the cue ball all afternoon with people bouncing off of us, so we'd like to stay out and lead a few laps. In fact, we're getting awfully good gas mileage, so we can go quite a ways here. Maybe we'll get another yellow flag. So Mark Martin did not opt to come in, and he will lead them down to the green flag. Well, you know, Darrell went 132.5 miles in February, Jack, but check this. Now, Mark Martin's crew just told me a minute ago, and the man who builds the motors behind me, Jack Roush, is the man who's actually doing the calculations. They would have to go 58 laps. That's 140 miles, and they believe they can do it. On that just stop you saw just a minute ago, that would be possibly their last scheduled fuel stop if they could go green the rest of the way. And if they can do it, everyone else at the stop, they might just win $100,000 in bonus money plus the first event ever for Mark Martin. Gentlemen?
57 laps to go in this race, and not only are we going to see some excellent racing on the track, but we're also going to be played out this pit strategy here in these last 56 laps of this event. Two things he's going for: his first Winston Cup win, plus that $100,000 bonus from Unocal. So what's more important, the bonus or the win?
Oh, the money's not the most important thing. You know, it's more important to get our first win for the Stroh's Light team. The guys really deserve it. They've worked so hard for it, and they're going to win. You know, and after the first one comes, they're just going to keep coming.
This could be the day that Mark Martin visits victory lane for the first time, but he's got a very strong Davey Allison leading him at the moment with 118 laps completed. Well, as you can see, as we are with Davey Allison, he now finds himself in second position as Mark Martin took over the top spot.
And he went into turn 3, drove down on the inside, and drove right around Davey, almost as if Davey just moved up and let him go. They had pulled away from the pack of cars behind them by about 100 yards, but now that they have hooked back up together, they're beginning to move away again. But what a race we got back in the pack.
Well, Steve Mill, Mark Martin's crew chief, has made a prediction, Jack. He says we just cannot hold off Kawicki and Elliott much longer. He said both Elliott and Kawicki were like a tenth of a second quicker than us before the yellow flag came out last time. He said we're just going to have to try to hang on, but if Kawicki and Elliott line up and draft each other, they're going to go right by us, and we're just going to have to hang on for dear life. And his prediction just came true. Phil Elliott slipped beneath his driver, Mark Martin, headed for turn 1. And Kawicki will follow him right on through.
Well, a great timing on that report, Jerry. Just as you were saying, they can't hold off Elliott. He went to the inside, coming off the fourth corner, and takes the lead once again.
And Bill Elliott started that pass in the middle of the back straightaway. About right here, the last lap, he backed up from Mark Martin, 3 or 4 car lengths, and then pressed accelerator going in the corner, got some momentum going. So when he came off turn 4, he was able to drive right by Mark Martin. And it surprised Martin so much, he almost crashed.
Well, you know, gentlemen, Mark Martin last pitted on lap number 102. We said he had to go 58 laps to the finish. That would be 140 miles. The man who's doing the calculations down there is the man who builds the motors, Jack Roush. And let's go down to a pair of Jacks, Jack Arute and Jack Roush.
Well, Jack Roush, I just finished talking to Jack Roush, who, as you say, Jerry Punch, is doing the calls there. They've been getting fluctuating miles per gallon readings throughout the course of the day. First, they got it at 7.5 miles per gallon. Then they got it as low as 2.5 miles per gallon. Now, just a couple of minutes ago, Jack Roush, Mark Martin radioed in. He said, how many pounds of fuel pressure?
He said it was down below 5 pounds, and we normally carry 6.5. We think that it just stacked up on the banking, but we think we're ready to go.
Well, they are indeed ready to go. We'll have to see if
Oh, we
he can
have
get it
a
out.
crash. Darrell Waltrip spins to the grass on the restart. Boy, you knew something was going to happen because they were coming down 4 abreast once again, and something had to give, and Darrell got the bad end of it.
He and Sterling Marlin got together as they were running at least those 2 cars and maybe others as they jockey for position over on the backstretch coming around for the, well, there's no yellow flag out. So
I don't think there's going to be one.
No.
Darrell is running okay, and the field is at full speed down the backstretch, so no caution. And here comes Davey Allison to the inside, taking over second position from Mark Martin.
He's trying to take over second spot.
Martin battling back on the outside in the number 6 stroll light for Bill Elliott, showing the way here with 11 laps to go.
The fellow who has the most to win, probably the guy in second spot.
And you can see we're on record pace again as 19 cars are on the lead lap. Mark Martin trying to win his first Winston Cup race in his career in the blue stroll light number 6 Ford.
a lot of money if he does.
Yeah, in addition to that, it's $100,000 in bonus money from Unocal. That's in addition to the money he'll win for actually taking home the first place prize. Davey Allison in third. It is Morgan Shepherd in 4th position and Phil Parsons in 5th.
Now, Bob, I'm sure there's some fans sitting out there who keep up with the various plans and things in NASCAR that say, well, we haven't mentioned that Mark Martin would go on the Winter Circle plan, too. He wouldn't, because all the Winter Circle plan spots are gone this year as he makes that move for the lead.
Here is Martin going for the lead, going into turn number 1. He's got Davey Allison with him on the bottom side of the racetrack, and Martin goes to the lead.
Here comes Morgan Shepherd. He wants a little piece of it, but he didn't have the muscle to try to make the move that time. He's got 3 stout Fords in front of him.
Elliott goes back to third. Davey Allison now is in second. There you can see Mark's finishes in previous Pepsi 400s. Now it looks as if Davey Allison may be in a position to make a bid for the lead. We'll watch from his perspective.
5 cars in that lead draft. Phil Parsons still hanging in tight. He's in 5th place in that lead draft. They're not too far away from coming up on Darrell Waltrip as we watch out the front window of Davey Allison. They're coming up on Darrell Waltrip to put a lap on him. He's certainly off speed since he made that spin, and Rusty Wallace is coming into the pits, an unscheduled pit stop for him.
A tough break for the guy who came into this race in second place in the point standings. Earnhardt has also had a bad day as the leader in Winston Cup points, and there is the Kodiak crew going to work on the right side of Rusty's car.
Apparently a tire cut down on it, and I don't know if he stopped during that caution period or not. He went through a lot of debris. We saw a lot of debris flying through the air through his in-car camera.
Now we see Davey Allison looking to the outside, the high line of Mark Martin in turn number 4. As they come down this time, they'll complete 154 laps, and we'll have 6 to go.
They're coming up on Neil Bonnet. Neil has been at slow speed since he was involved in the spin a little bit earlier in the race, and damage done to his Ford. They went on. There they are going by Neil right now. He gives them plenty of racing room.
Those 3 Fords able to put just a little bit of breathing room on the Pontiac and the Oldsmobile. There we see Martin, Davey Allison, Bill Elliott, Morgan Shepherd, and Phil Parsons just a few car lengths back.
They went by Geoff Bodine. Geoff Bodine had come out of the pits. He had too, like Rusty Wallace, had made an unscheduled pit stop.
Mark Martin trying everything he's ever heard of to keep Davey Allison behind him. He's running high. He's running low.
You know how much he wants this Winston Cup win and is going to try everything in his power here in the last 5 laps to keep the lead. But Davey Allison now moves above Mark Martin, and Allison grabs the lead.
And Bill Elliott comes with him on the outside. Yeah, I wonder, is he out of gas?
I think he's just out of the draft.
No, I believe he's...
Maybe he is.
I believe he's...
Yes, he's out of gas.
Oh, what a tough break for Mark Martin. He begins to fall back badly now. And also, we see Morgan, Now, Morgan Shepherd is still in the...
still running.
That's Ernie Irvin going down very slow on the back straightaway.
Phil Parsons is the one that also has dropped back from this lead trio. So now it's Allison, Bill Elliott, and Morgan Shepherd who are running very close together. And Phil just a little ways behind.
I'll tell you, I had to really question the 6-car not coming in, the opportunities they had for fuel. Let's go to Jack Arute on more then.
Well, you can see the engine starting fluid, the ether that one of the crewmen is holding in his hand. They have indeed run out of fuel, and in order to get this car started, when you run it out of fuel, you've got to spray some of this into the carburetor. The entire Stroh's Light team is waiting for Mark Martin to come onto pit road to take on precious fuel.
Morgan Shepherd goes to second spot. Bill Elliott is back to third. Allison has the lead, and now when they come by, we'll have only 3 more laps to go.
Morgan Shepherd. Ned, where did he come from? Right by Bill Elliott in the second spot. He might be in the best position of all.
He might be. He's been strong all day long. We've said that several times.
Mark Martin is in the pits for a fuel stop. They're putting some petroleum in that car, and he moves back out on the racetrack, but his chances of victory are going. And now Phil Parsons has caught the trio again into the 4-car battle for the lead. Harold Kinder has the white flag in hand, and he waves it for Davey Allison and Morgan Shepherd and Bill Elliott and Phil Parsons. They're on the last tour of the 2.5-mile trioval at Daytona in the Pepsi 400. It is Allison that is staying out front by about a car length over Morgan Shepherd as Bill Elliott falls back just a little in third position. They come out of the 31 degrees of banking and down the flat backstretch for the final time, and they pass by Darrell Waltrip, who was successful here at this racetrack in February in the Daytona 500. Now, the cars set themselves into turn number 3, and Davey's wife, Morgan's wife, is just hoping and praying everything she has that Morgan can pull out the victory. Let's see, we have a battle for third position. The win is going to be by Davey Allison. He crosses the stripe and wins. Morgan is second, and Phil Parsons, I believe, got third at the last moment, passing Bill Elliott.
He sure did. Wow, that's a pretty good lap.
Who you on, Ned?
Well, I've been clocking Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, practicing up a little bit for the Pepsi 400.
I tell you what, all those people have some problems during the Pepsi 400 trying to outrun those Fords, don't they?
They sure do. Yeah.
You know, Ned, when Mike Jennis from Kamoela, Hawaii sent me this hat, he said it was a Hawaiian fishing hat. And I got thinking, where can we use it? Well, we found the place, didn't we?
Perfect place here in Lake Lloyd. 40 acres of lake here inside the Daytona Speedway.
We watch race cars and fish all at the same time.
I'll tell you, this is the life, no doubt about it, but I'm a little bit concerned, Benny. You know, race cars have gotten in this lake during a race.
I remember Tom Pistone used to wear a life vest when he was out racing, just in case he got in the water.
Tommy Irvin got in here in the Daytona 500 back in 1960 and had to swim out of here. Boy, I'm glad it didn't happen to me.
I'm telling you, Mike Jennis from Kamoela, Hawaii. Thank you very much for the hat. It's going to Miami, Florida, where Miami-Dade Community College is having a celebrity auction. And folks, all you race fans down in Miami, go by, bid lots of money. Hey, what are you using for bait?
Just some kind of a worm.
Well, I've been using a spinner. I'm not getting a bite. Think we ought to move?
Yeah, let's move over that side of the lake. I know we'll get some bites over
Fire
there.
this thing up. Let's go.